he's the guy, 20-plus sacks, blah, blah, blah. He's the next big guy, all in the newspaper, all everywhere. Number 7 jersey selling like crazy.
Okay.
And everybody forget about Josh Sweat. I got 3 Eagles fans here.
Oh, yes, sir, man. Yes,
3
sir.
Eagles fans recapping the Eagles versus Vikings game. Without further ado, since Lindy is the guest today, we'll let you go ahead and get your piece out, my man. 24-7, the Eagles beat the Vikings at home at the Link, their first home game of the season. Let us know how you felt after the game. I know you're wearing the Darius Slay jersey. Are you still riding the high of the Monday night win?
Well, I was in the middle of trying to get my keyboard working again because I think it's having the same issue that Sora's mouse is. It's a bad USB connection, so the sound was actually transmitted to my speakers instead of my Yeti. But nonetheless, I think you guys can still hear me anyway.
Yeah, we hear you perfect.
Yeah, this was a. I said this. I said this at the end of the first half. I don't remember a game in which I seen Jalen Hurts more surgical than I did against the Vikings. You take into consideration they're coming into this game off of a match where the Vikings were, well, my dog's trying to get into it now, but he's barking upstairs. But where the Vikings easily dispatched a Green Bay Packers team that, again, we understand the position that Aaron Rodgers is in, and he loses Devontae Adams, and Alan Lazard is trying to come back from injury, and he's dealing with some rookie receivers, this, that, and the third. But it's still Aaron Rodgers. They still got a good defense. Jair Alexander is still there. Eric Stokes is on the come up. And you have, a former Eagle and Rasul Douglas, who was graded as one of the better corners, at the end of week 2. So it's not like that this was a game where you come into it as a fan, or you come into it, watching the game in general. And it's like, okay, well, we shouldn't take this very seriously, but the Vikings are a formidable foe to Philly, and we didn't back down in our home opener. And it's funny because if Philly managed to score 2 more touchdowns, it would have mirrored the 38-7 NFC Championship.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's literally what I said to ECG before.
Remember, that evening, and the aura of it was very similar. But I'm not going to again fall into the traffic of hype train and bandwagon, because I'm seeing on Twitter people saying that, the price is going up for Jalen Hurts. The more and more he plays this good, you got to get him his extension now.
But is that an overreaction to just one week of really good play?
I personally cannot do it after 2 weeks. And what dawned on me is the idea of, us Eagles fans, we date back to 2016, and you had the new regime of coaches come in, and you had Doug Peterson, John DeFilippo, Frank Reich coming in. A lot of Peterson's guys are coming in. They're trying to figure it out with a rookie Carson Wentz. That first year was a little bit underwhelming, but we understood the circumstance in team building, in coaching development, cohesion between coaches and players. That's still happening. That's still happening right now to this Eagles football team, where you have Nick Sirianni as a first-time head coach. You come in, and there's still a soft space right now with Jonathan Gannon, but you got to give him his flowers when he dialed in a great defensive plan against the Vikings, and telling Slade that, dude, you're going to lock up Justin Jefferson, and he's not even going to sniff 100 yards. I mean, all across the board, this was a fantastic performance by the Eagles in all 3 phases. Special teams, okay, they're still trying to figure out with they're still trying to figure it out with Britton Covey. Again, this is an undrafted rookie, and the Eagles aren't getting in a position where they don't want to see fair catches all the time anymore. They want to at least have a guy that can get anywhere from 9, 10, 11 yards off of the return. Something to give them a bit of a boost in terms of field position. But when you look at it, man, I don't think you could have asked for a better game out of Jalen Hurts. We had our worries in week 1 against the Lions where he zoned in on A.J. Brown. There wasn't as much distribution of the football as we liked. We were still having concerns that, he couldn't throw to his left and he favored the middle and the right side. And this is old news. We were used to this last year. He distributed the ball all across the field. And going through the game and watching him, there's another important factor that I want to bring out, that kind of goes under the radar to me that's not necessarily speaked about enough. And you guys remember when Carson Wentz was here, and there just seemed to be too much. There just seems to be too much tension between him and the the offensive play callers, especially the head coach who was trying to coordinate the offense. And he always had a tendency of really calling himself out on a lot of plays, and he always went to an audible or he tried to kill the play coming in. That's not necessarily something I see out of Jalen Hurts at all. I love that he has a better belief in the game plan of what Shane Steichen is giving him. I love that he stays in structure, and I love that he's continuing to be more decisive with his decisive and safe with his playmaking. Going back to the Lions game where he's rushing for 17 times, and again, for the type of quarterback he is, that's not ideal. But when you tandem that with a underwhelming performance of the offensive line, he almost didn't have a choice. This game, the offensive line tightened up aside from unnecessary consecutive consecutive penalty of ineligible, an ineligible man down the field. I think Sayamalu got flagged for it. I think Landon got flagged for it. So I think it was the penalties they're going to have to clean up, because that just can't happen. That's discipline. That's on coaching. But overall, this was a fantastic performance across the board. Give credit where credit's due in that regard. But again, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, a question from RAP. Know what I'm saying? Yo, it was good. Question: why is Jordan Davis not making the big impact that we all thought?
He's rotational.
He's not ready for the full time yet.
Didn't I tell y'all this was what would happen?
Again, he's a big dude, bro. He's gonna get tired really easy.
You know why I think he's rotational right now? Because Fletcher Cox is playing way better than what people thought he was going to play.
I try telling people that too. Because you look at it, Fletcher Cox will have a good year, then a bad year, then a good year.
A young guy will motivate you, man. Yes. A young guy that's ready to replace you will motivate you better than anything else.
Bad year, so it's now his good year.
Yeah. People wrote him off. They called him washed. They said he wasn't gonna do anything he'll ever do again. Like they said he'll never be that same defensive tackle that killed the middle and had double teams left and right. And they said Jordan Davis will come in by the middle of week 2 or some shit like that. Like, bro, that wasn't the case. Fletcher Cox came in and he stepped up. He stepped up big. Like you said, it's the same stuff. This is what happens when you motivate a guy that is really talented and you add him with Jordan Davis. You just look at this performance and you go like, how many sacks does he have this year? And again, I want to compliment another player, Josh Sweat, bro. This dude is going to have the year. I think this man is going to have a year, bro, because he's on a hot start. That boy is cooking. Like, he's your guy from Florida State, ECG, so I know you know a lot about him.
I said that Josh Sweat was going to have a better year than Hassan Reddick. I absolutely stand by that.
I think I was with you on that too.
I absolutely stand by that, man. Some people just need time some people just need time to develop, and like I said, the biggest motivation is people that are there to replace you, not the fact that Hassan Reddick is there to replace him, but it as he's the guy, 20 plus sacks, blah blah blah. He's the next big guy, all in the newspaper, all everywhere. Number 7 jersey selling like crazy, and everybody forget about Josh Sweat. You know what I'm saying? Not the fact that people forgot about him, but it just is what it is, and but before we get on to the Eagles for real. Give us your quick recap, Sora, on the game.
Before we get into that, I want to say the person that I feel like is at a risk of losing their job to Davis, and I even said it would not be Fletcher.
Yeah.
It would be Hargrave, because both Fletcher and Hargrave are free agents after this year. So one of them, if not both, are gone. And at this point, Fletcher has 2 sacks and a forced fumble. He had a sack last game, he had a sack this game, and that forced fumble. So if anything, it needs to be Hargrave that needs to be motivated by Davis. Quick recap. I mean, you saw Hurts spread out the ball to like 8 different receivers and running backs.
Mm-hmm.
The interception was not his fault. It just bounced off of Gainwell's hands. Hate that that's how he got his first interception, but it is what it is. I mean, besides the one drive that the Vikings scored on, Gannon's defensive scheme looked good.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but Slay was running the routes for Justin Jefferson. That made sure 6 interceptions.
But I know we've been giving a lot of credit to Darius Slay. But I know
Maddox, James Bradbury, they all look good.
I get it, but you guys are Eagles fans, but I had to call out one player that I thought played really, really well for the purple gang over there. RAP, your boy Cam Danceler had a hell of a game for himself.
He played really well. I think his instincts, to me, his instincts are really well. Like he's more like I don't know. I just feel like he could be like more in the back end of the field instead of like a corner. I don't know.
And Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith were really good as well.
Yeah.
Who are those people?
Alvin Tomlinson.
Tomlinson.
But Patrick Peterson wasn't too bad yesterday. They lined him up against
Pat P just added to his resume. Was that his first block kick in his career?
Yeah.
And he's an old man. But Cam Danceler, let's keep it a buck here. That dude played really, really well. He's taken another step in his career this year, and shout out to Pat P for taking him under the wing. I mean, we're not seeing Andrew Booth Jr. on that defense. We're not seeing Lewis Seen on that defense. Whoever, I said it last night, number 24, whoever that safety is, man.
I
said this on Vic's show last night. That pass that happened to
Quez. The deep ball to Quez.
It was a post corner route. Yeah, it was a post corner route, and he bit on
it. Was just a go. When you look at it, it was just a go route. But the thing is you could tell that number 24 is inexperienced for the simple fact that he was watching Dallas Goedert and thought that was something going to happen. Mm-hmm. But Quez Watkins was running full speed and not routing anybody. Like, in your right mind watching tape this week, why didn't you think that he was just going to run through the seam on a go? And you not pick that up. He caught it at the last moment and turned, and it was too late. It's like stuff like that is what's going to get teams in trouble against the Eagles. But against really good safeties like Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde and Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, they're not going to fall for that. They're already going to know that, like,
Jesse Bates maybe, but they won't.
Yeah, Goddard in discise.
Nah, I don't know about
when Quez Watkins is running full speed, like,
I don't. Yeah, I think it was easy to see that. No, I'm not going to say it was easy to see, but to me, I think you can say that Quez was not the primary on that one. He was used to clear space on that side of the field. That Hurts probably would have targeted Goddard on that had the safety not have bit and came down. But yeah, no, you were right about Danceler. He did stick out to me. He did stick out to me watching the game. You seen him on receivers. You seen him on Goddard. He's not afraid to get physical at the catch point. Of course, without committing a penalty. So, I mean, going into that game, he wasn't initially on my radar, but he made himself known, and sometimes that's the biggest difference in a football game is, you saying, I'm here, and you gotta respect my skill set, and that's what Danceler ultimately did.
And who else thought that Dalvin Cook just did not look himself last night?
Yeah, he looked terrible.
And they kept running it on first down for whatever reason, and it wasn't working.
So our run defense is a big part of that. You can't do anything when you have Fletcher Cox, Hargrave in the middle, and then you have to go up against Josh Sweat.
I get it. But after the fourth time of you gaining 1 or 2 yards, like on first down, every time you try to run the ball, like that's Kevin O'Connell's fault. And now offensive coordinator, like you're not building Dalvin's confidence by having him right up the middle against a really good, defensive front seven every single time. Like, I mean, what are we doing here? And then it's not even that. Those little dump off passes that Dalvin was catching, there was like 2 or 3 times where he was like bobbling the ball and just wasn't like confident and just running. I'm like, what is? And we all know here, Dalvin Cook is one of the smoothest runners in the NFL. Can make the first person miss every single time. Yes. And it just didn't even look like he was trying last night.
Yeah, and I mean,
I don't know. Maybe he could have been jump started by the defense. Could have been scared a little in a way.
I don't know.
You talk about Kevin O'Connell's impact in not making adjustments. I think offensively and defensively, the Vikings did not make any adjustments. Throughout the entire game, they pretty much let the Eagles do almost whatever they wanted. And it was only until towards the end of the game where, the Vikings wanted to take advantage and utilize the no huddle to tire out the defense, to which it almost worked. But you seen when the Vikings got into the red zone, that's when Jonathan Gannon started to dial up the pressure. He came with, after the first and goal opportunity, of course, because that pass I believe went to I think it was targeted to Adam Thielen, and it was almost picked off by Zech McPherson, which I think Zech McPherson deserves his flowers too. After being one of the special teams players of the week for the NFC, he comes in, on a defensive snap when Slay's off the field, and he almost forces an interception. I mean, this was a guy in the secondary that, we kind of questioned the depth of the cornerback position, and we were trying to figure out, well, where are they going to put Zech McPherson? And here he is coming in. He's announcing his presence, and he's working on Adam Thielen, and he's no slouch of a receiver. Yeah, he's not the guy that he once was because age is starting to creep up on him at 32 years old. But Adam Thielen is still a reputable receiver in the NFL.
He's gotten open a ton of times these last couple of weeks that Kirk just wasn't seeing, or that the play wasn't designed to come to him. But Adam Thielen still got the feet, man.
Yeah, he does.
And to go on Zech McPherson, 2 things. One, I think he probably repeated a performance enough to let him get Special Teams Player of the Week again. Yeah, I mean, you would look at those punt returns, like, not even if it was Rager back there, but it was like they weren't getting anywhere. McPherson would be able to drive them back. Second of all, McPherson, if you're watching this, hi, thank you for throwing your glove at me during the preseason game. I keep that on me now. Shout out to you.
Well,
respect for the special teams, man.